If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Christine McIver.
Welcome, 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 my friends. I am Christine McIver, and I'm so thrilled that you are here with us tonight. We are going to be talking about a subject that's very important to each and every human being, and most especially to entrepreneurs. All the entrepreneurs out there, raise your hand. I know you're there. I know you're listening. I know you're watching. I'm super grateful that you are, and I hope that this show can contribute to you more than any other show ever actually has. The thing about this is that we are all in this together. We're all in the learning. We're all in the growing. And when we learn something and we experience it and we come through it on the other side, we can then share this with other people. And this is what tonight's show is all about. So tonight's show is moving through burnout in business. Now, whether you're in your own business or you're working in someone else's business, all of this is still going to apply, because you know my motto: even when you're working with someone else, you should operate as if it is your own business, because that's where you will dig so deeply and have more success than you've ever had before. And why do something if you're not looking to be really successful at it? But we're going to get into all of that tonight. So what I want to tell you before we get into the show is I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a strategic business coach. I started in human resources probably, I don't know, more than 20 years ago. I think it was like 26 years ago, I actually started in human resources, the field that started me off because my heart was in it to support and be a cheerleader for other people. And as my life evolved and my career evolved and my desires evolved, I began my own business. And I started in my own business in 2008. And from there, I became a professionally trained coach. I started working with individuals. And then before I knew it, I started working with individuals that wanted to be in their own business as well. So I started bringing what I learned to the table to share with them, as you know, as we all do. So in that sharing, I started to evolve even more and more of myself. Because if you've listened to any of my shows, you know that I'm always saying that you need to evolve. If you want your business to evolve and grow, you need to evolve and grow. Same can be said for your relationship. Same can be said for your prosperity. It always comes back to you continuing to evolve and develop who you are and dig in more into the amazingness that you be. So as I continued along, and I was actually approached by a company to start my own radio show. And here I am, 2000, that was in 2013. Oh my gosh, my mind. So that is what, 9 years later, 10 years later, I can't even keep track. I'm here with not only my own radio show, my own podcast, but also my own TV show, and the founder of Inspired Choices Network, and where I get to live out even more of my dreams and my desires and bring my desire to be someone's cheerleader to the forefront around the world. How cool is that, right? But even doing that, I still need to grow me and learn about me. And that's what tonight's show is really all about. And I hope that this contributes to you, because that's what's on my heart, is to contribute to each and every one of you. And I'm grateful that you are listening. I'm grateful that you hit that play button. I'm grateful that you said yes to leaning in to learn more about what it is we're going to be talking about, and about burnout. So if you would like to learn more about how I work with individuals from both the Inspired Choices Network or from a strategic business perspective, where I help you to really align your business and help it to grow in every single solitary area with pleasure, please contact me. You can email me, Christine at Inspired Choices Network. Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. You can, of course, find me here on the Inspired Choices Network, or you can check out my personal website, inspiredchoices.ca. You can find me on any social media platform. Just message me there if that's easier. And let's have a conversation. That's where it starts, is let's connect. Let's have a conversation and see what really is possible. So tonight, let's jump into tonight's show. Moving through burnout in business. Do you experience burnout? Hands up. Are you an entrepreneur and burnout is real for you? As an entrepreneur and often a solopreneur, there is no one else that does the majority of the work in your business. And when burnout hits, it's no laughing matter. You can't just take a week off and hope the business will continue because you are the business. So what do you do to continue the business and move beyond burnout? That's the key. So that's what I hope to share with you tonight and how we can actually do this and do it with pleasure. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, what is burnout? What is burnout? It's more than just being tired and needing to take a nap. Burnout is emotional exhaustion and loss of motivation. Let me say that again. Burnout is emotional exhaustion and loss of motivation. A lot of people talk about burnout or being fried. I just feel fried. It's literally like all your circuits are fried, but it really does involve both of those components. It's the physical and the emotional and the spiritual all together, just feeling a complete loss of wanting to get up and wanting to get going because you're physically exhausted, but you're also emotionally spent. And that's a very, very important aspect. What I want to start with is I want to tell you something that I wish someone had told me sooner, is that there's nothing wrong with you when you are in burnout. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And there's no reason to feel any shame at all. Burnout is something that most of us in our life will experience. And most especially if you are an adult at this time on the planet, you're likely experiencing burnout of some kind. So I want you to stop feeling bad. I want you to stop feeling bad because you're experiencing this, because that feeling bad is actually putting a weight on top of the burnout. And so when you're feeling this emotional burnout and this physical tiredness to the point that you can't move, and then you put judgment on top of it, maybe you even are carrying shame. Shame is such a friggin' lie. But if you are carrying any of this feeling bad and you feel pressured from all of this, that's going to keep you locked down even worse, to the point that you can actually physically get ill. Now, burnout is not a physical illness, but it certainly can lead to a physical illness. And we're going to talk about the signs, what to look for tonight. And we're also going to talk about what you can do to actually move through it and beyond it. So if you are listening live, I would love for you to join us in the chat room. You can do that at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Just click on the menu bar where it says chat room. Put in any name. You don't even have to use your real name. And come on in there and you can ask me questions live. And you can also join the live studio audience where you can just watch what's going on. I'd love to have you join me. And what better to be able to ask your questions, ask for guidance, and ask for some clarity to support you. That's what this show is all about. In fact, that's what this entire network is all about. It's about inspiring you and contributing to you. That's what all of the hosts do here, which is very, very cool. If you are listening in the replay, in the podcast, either through one of our audio podcast platforms or our TV podcast platforms, I'd love to hear from you. I would love to hear your feedback. Your feedback is actually such a gift to myself and to any of our hosts, because it really tells us that we are connecting with you. And we would love to be able to contribute to you, even if you're not live with us right now. That's one of the unique things about the Inspired Choices Network, is we are actually live when we are recording our shows. It then gets turned into audio and TV podcast. So how cool is that, right? So let's talk about whether you have support in your corner or you have shame in your corner. Most people have no one, absolutely zero people who they feel they can turn to for support. This was research that was done by one of my colleagues here on the network, Kathleen Reason, through Kathleen's show is called The Kathleen Reason Show. And she talks about this quite often. And it always astounds me when she says this, that most people, and especially entrepreneurs, have zero support people that they can turn to in time of crises. As I was saying, a lot of us are solopreneurs in our own businesses, or we have people that work for us but really do require our guidance. We don't have maybe a director that can take over while we step away to take care of ourselves or to take care of someone else, or to even go for an extended vacation. That's not usually something we have built in. And it's not a wrongness, it's just where we are at. And it's so important to start to identify if you are beginning to feel you're at the beginning stages of burnout, or if you're deeply into burnout. It's very important to start to identify who you have support. Now, many of us don't have support because of shame. We feel shame that we are burnt out, that we can't do it all. You know what? I am someone who believes that I can do it all. And sometimes, a number of times, I need to give myself a little checkup from the neck up, because doing it all should not be our target. Creating amazing things, yes. But doing it all should not be our target, because that, my friends, is a quick path to burnout. It absolutely is. If you are buying this, that this is something that you need to be doing, you are going to be hurting yourself, most definitely, which is going to hurt your business. It's going to hurt your relationships. It can have long-term effects on your physical body and on your mental health. That is nothing is worth that, right? Absolutely nothing. Shame is such a crock, because when we are in that space, and I've been there, I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone about what was going on. When you're in that space of shame, what you actually do is you are in a continuous flow of judging yourself. And when you are continuously judging yourself, you've got this loud voice that's going on in your head, consciously and unconsciously. And that shame is such bullshit, because what it's actually saying is you're not good enough. And that is absolutely not true. You came here, you chose to come here to make a contribution in the world. You are good enough. And if somebody hasn't told you that today, I want you to hear that from me. You are good enough. You are good enough. And maybe, just maybe, you've been trying to do it in a way that's not contributing to you and your body. And that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for, to support you. And other people have been here to support me. And that's what I want to share with you tonight, is that being in burnt out isn't the end of the road. It oftentimes, burnout is actually the opportunity to align more closely with your true energy and your true purpose. It's an opportunity. And when you're in burnout, it doesn't feel like an opportunity. And I can feel some of you saying bullshit. And I get it. I totally get it. I want you to understand that it is an opportunity, because you know what? You're still here. You're still in your body. You're still taking a breath. And if you're listening to this show, you have a desire to change it. So the opportunity is knocking. Are you ready to open the door? We are going to go for our first break of the show. I've got a lot more that I want to share with you. When you come back, we're going to be talking more about burnout, about how we get to burnout, and how we can most certainly change it and actually begin to thrive even more than we ever even imagined in our own businesses. How's that sound? I would love for you to join me after the break. You are listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome, 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 my friends. I'm so happy you're here, and thank you for sticking around, because tonight is a dynamic show that each and every person that I care about, I would love for them to be here. So tonight we are talking about burnout. Oh my gosh. How many of you have ever experienced anything like that? Have you ever experienced burnout? Have you ever felt like you just need a break, and maybe for a really, really long time, like an extended break, right? So many of us are in that space, and we are really struggling with how we can change things and how we can get things lined up in our lives to create more ease and create more pleasure in our lives, but we're burned out. So the next thing I want to talk about is what got us here? What got us to burnout? Oftentimes, though, what's really important is to look at is, what does burnout mean to you? What does burnout mean to you? Does burnout mean that you need a rest? Maybe you need a long weekend, or you need a vacation. Is that what burnout is to you? What does that look like? Or is burnout something where you just can't go on anymore, that you just want to lie in bed and not get out of bed? Now, there is a difference that I want to point out right now. There is a difference between depression, anxiety, and burnout. All right? Anxiety and depression will often follow burnout. You can be sad, and who isn't right now, right, in the world with what's going on? We are all psychic sponges. We are all energy. Every single one of us are energy in human form. We pick up on other people's energy, whether we realize it cognitively or not. And one of the biggest things that you've got to start to do if you are experiencing burnout, depression, or anxiety of any kind is you've got to start identifying if this is all yours, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. You've got to identify it, because if you don't start to identify it, you are going to take on everybody's stuff all the time, right? I don't want to get deeply into, because we got a lot to cover tonight. I don't want to get deeply into how I absolutely know that you're picking up other people's stresses and burnout. But what I want you to do is I want you to really start to, after the show, if you're experiencing this, certainly reach out to me and start to do some of your own research around the definitions of what each of these things look like. Burnout can start with the physical exhaustion and the lack of motivation. Okay? Sadness is sadness. Depression and anxiety are deep things that don't shift, that you keep repeating and repeating every single solitary day. Now, if you're listening to this show, I hope it means that you're ready to start choosing more for you so that you can avoid going into depression and anxiety. Certainly an accident or some kind of abuse can bring these things on, but not burnout. An accident or abuse is not going to bring burnout. There's going to be other things that are going to come into this. So I just want to try to help you to see the differences, but do understand that you are a psychic sponge and you are picking up all sorts of things that actually can be adding to all of this. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, what would support look like for me? What would support look like for me? Now, if you're still attached to shame, you may not be open to support. So that's an area where you want to start looking at, is the shame component. And shame is truly a lie that we're not good enough. And you are. If you're choosing to get up and continue to go to work each day, if you're choosing to show up for your clients and your customers, right, you have nothing to be ashamed of. You can't know everything and have experienced everything already because you're not done yet, right? There's going to be lots of things that you are going to experience. You're going to experience further in your life. And it's so important that you identify with what is true and what is something that you're buying as a lie. A lot of times people are buying shame because they're not good enough, because they're not as good as someone else. How many of us are comparing ourselves to someone else or buying that we should be able to do it all? No, you shouldn't be able to do it all. And you didn't come to a planet to do it all. There's plenty of us around. So please lean in a little bit more to tonight's show. The next thing I want to talk about is what one of the things that many of us do that end up in burnout is that we are, oh my gosh, there's so many words flying around in their head. We are addicted to gifting. How many of you are addicted to gifting, to giving to other people, to helping other people? Tell me the last time that you actually said, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. How many of you actually have ever not picked up a phone call when someone's called? That's maybe your client, your customer, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, even a child. How many of you have actually not picked up the phone? Do you ever not pick up your phone? Do you ever not instantly respond to a text? Do you ever not instantly respond to an email? Do you ever not instantly respond to a direct message somewhere on social media? Are you continuously stopping what you're doing for somebody else's emergency, right? Because your values, we're going to talk values now, your values, one of your greatest values maybe is to help other people. Well, that's me. One of my greatest values is to be a contribution to other people. And I really had to have some strong talks with myself. It's so important that you stop and you look at this, my friends, because this is one of the biggest culprits. If you're in your own business or you're even working for somebody else and your target is to succeed, whatever that looks like, it doesn't matter what it looks like, but you will have tasks, you will have things that you need to do to move you towards completing and succeeding, right? Well, when you are not willing to say no to other people, they're going to continuously interrupt you. It's going to be interruption after interruption. It's going to be putting out fires. It's going to be putting out fires. So unless you're a firefighter, you shouldn't be putting out all these fires. Your fires are what should be lighting you up, not everybody else's. Now, I'm not saying don't contribute, and I'm not saying don't help, but you've got to find that balance in your life and in your business, that you put you and your business first. If you cannot say no to other people and you are always on, you are always on social media, you have things popping up all the time that's distracting you, well, the very first thing that I want you to understand and remember this is that every single time someone interrupts you, they rob you of 20 minutes of refocusing. So somebody interrupts you, immediately you stop. You're on the phone with them for 20 minutes. You're on the phone with them for 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. Every single one of those interruptions add on another 20 minutes. Okay? So let's say your mother calls. Let's say you get somebody sends you a message asking for guidance on how to do something. They're not a paying client. They're just someone that wants to take something for free from you. Let's say you're checking your emails 2 or 3 times a day. How many times do you check your emails a day? 2 or 3 times a day. Let's say somebody comes to the door and interrupts you. Even if you're only having 5 interruptions a day, that works out to how much? That works out to more than an hour and a half a day. An hour and a half a day times 5 days a week, right? That's working out to 7.5 hours a week. So let me ask you this, my friends. That's nearly an entire day's work because of interruptions, because of just getting refocused. An entire day. If you had an extra day of the week where you could just focus on your tasks, how much farther along would you be with your tasks? If you took that day and instead of completing tasks, you did self-nurturing with no interruptions, take an extra 7.5 hour nap, go for a beautiful walk in nature, lay on your hammock and just feel the breeze on your body. Go have a bath, have a long bath, have a beautiful meal. If you took 1 extra day a week and did this, where would your burnout be? Where would your burnout be? It would be very low. You would start to eliminate that burnout from your reality. This is key. Listen to what I am saying. Interruption is actually one of the things that leads to burnout. You've got to learn to be able to say no. And something that I learned from Cheryl Richardson, I don't know if you know who she is, but when I started on my path in my own business, I heard Cheryl speak, and one of the lines that she used is something that I share with my clients all the time, and I say it to myself, is sometimes saying no to you is saying yes to me, or sometimes saying yes to me means saying no to you. Now, when you share that with someone, not in the heat of a moment, but when you share that with someone who cares about you and looks up to you or relies upon you, but you share it with kindness for you and for them, it changes the relationship in how they reach out to you. It truly, truly does. So I want you to look at your values, and I want you to look at the values from the perspective of you in the center of being the most important aspect of your values. You, even the helper, even the over giver. Because if you are not taken care of, you cannot be there for people. You cannot support your clients and your customers and people in your lives. You are the key. And we hear this all the time, but I want to give you concrete evidence of this. Every time someone every time you allow someone to interrupt you, whether it's a distraction with email, whether it's a distraction with phone, whether it's going on social media, whatever that is, you are robbing yourself of 20 minutes, which can add up so quickly. So if you get to the end of your day and you feel like you haven't accomplished enough, if you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm not getting ahead, I'm not doing well, your frustration is going to elevate. When your frustration elevates, you're going to start to judge yourself. You're going to start breaking down your emotional and mental mind from that judgment perspective. And that's where burnout is going to start knocking big time. All right. When we get back from our next break, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what's going on for you in that. And then we're going to start to dive into how you can change it, because that's the important piece, right? How can we actually thrive in our lives, in our businesses, when we feel burnout coming or we're in burnout? So my friends, you are listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. I'd love for you to join us after the break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Well, my friends, thank you so much for being here. If you're just joining, tonight we are talking about burnout and how you can move through burnout in business, because it's real. Burnout is real. And if you're not careful, you're going to catch yourself in burnout, which can lead to even more health risks. And who wants that? You deserve to be happy and have pleasure in your business. If you're just joining, I would really invite you to go back and listen to the first couple of segments of the show, because those are really laying the foundation of what can be going on and some of the things that you need to do to really change this. So when we finished our last segment, we were talking about gifting and not receiving. That's the place where I really want to go into, is how many of you are not willing to receive support from other people? How many of you are caught in some belief system that you have to do it all because of money? And if you don't do it all, you're going to fail. Well, I want you to listen to this. If you don't get support for yourself in your business and you are feeling burnout, even working from someone else, not asking for support is a guarantee to burnout. It's a guarantee to burnout. It is huge. And it's an aspect that many of us don't want to talk about. That's that shame that keeps us locked in there. If you're struggling with finances, and I've been there, I understand this very, very intimately. If you are struggling with finances and you're not willing to ask for support, your finances are not going to get better because you're burning out. So here's another really important thing, and this is about receiving support from other people, even people that you pay. Receiving support from them is critical. All right, it's critical. But you, my friend, have to learn how to ask for support. That's number one. You have to learn how to ask for support, and you don't have to ask for support from that victim energy. You can say, you know what? I've got more on my plate than is manageable. You don't have to get very, very vulnerable with someone. Get vulnerable with someone, but not each person that you're asking for support from. You don't have to. Just let them know that you've got more on your plate than you can manage. That's what a real leader does. A real leader will identify where they are falling down and will identify where they need support and help. This is important. Now, something I want to tell you is, a lot of people, when we're talking about we have to do more, there is a fact out there. I don't know who the study was done by, but there was a study done, and especially around people doing overtime, working for other people. And there is the findings were that once you get past the 40-hour work week and you actually hit 50 hours, once you hit the 50 hours, anything past that 50 hours a week, you are going to be getting a diminishing return. You're actually going to be getting less productivity than if you had stayed at 50 hours work. A diminishing return. Now, we all know what a diminishing return is when it comes to money. If you could see your time from a money perspective and really value it, some of the things that are actually burning you out could start to change. So a very big thing is if you could look to hiring someone, even someone 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, beginning to hire someone to support you in areas that you don't need to be doing. It could be simply doing your bookkeeping. It could be doing some of your administrative work. Having someone there that you can offload 5 to 10 hours a week. Well, now we're back to value again, aren't we? We're really talking about your value will come to the table even greater. Now, here's the thing. When you are in a diminishing return and you go into burnout, my friends, one of the very first things that starts to actually drop is your creativity. You start to lose your creativity and you start to lose opportunities because of your energy dropping, because of the burnout. So learning to receive and ask for support and actually hiring someone is such a critical step to come out of burnout. All right. Remember, you want to align more closely with your true energy and your purpose. And I'm sure your purpose wasn't to do it all. I'm sure you have a greater purpose on what you want to be bringing to the world. When you lose your sense of humor, that's a really great sign that you're starting to go into burnout, when you start to lose your sense of humor. You want to really look at why you're making the choices that you're making. Are you making your choices out of obligation? Are you trying to prove something to yourself or to someone else in your life? Even if they're no longer in body, are you trying to make a point? Are you trying to prove something? Do you feel guilt? Do you feel guilt at all? You've really got to look at what your motivators are for why you've gotten yourself to this point. And if you're motivated by money, Money will be the first thing that will burn you out faster than by desire. When you are operating from desire, you're going to allow your purpose to flow through you. But when money is your target, that's where you can get into burnout more quickly than anything else. Here's some of the things that you can do to start to change and really lean into changing this energy of burnout or feeling fried. The first thing is to spend a few minutes every morning, even before you get out of bed, do this for at least 1 to 2 weeks, is write down daily what motivates me. Just at the top, what motivates me. And don't think about it. Just start to write. Write it in the AM when your mind is clear. Give yourself 10 minutes. Just set your alarm 10 minutes earlier. And what you will find over time is the truth of what is really deeply beyond the first things that you think about will start to come forward. And as you get more in touch with what motivates you and what your values are in those motivations, you will start to get clearer and clearer about what is important, and you'll start to make those things more of a priority. The next thing I want you to look at is I want you to look at, who do you surround yourself with? Do you have a tribe of other entrepreneurs, soulpreneurs? Do you have a tribe of people around you, not that are going to save you, but that can actually inspire you to make choices that honor you? Are you really being supported, even mentally, by the things that you're reading or the things that you're telling yourself? Are you allowing yourself to be connected with a tribe of people? Even if you have 3 or 4 people and you connect with them on a daily basis, that can nurture your soul so much, so that you're not doing it all by yourself. When someone loves you and cares about you, and they have a lot of the similar targets in moving forward through the world, they don't have to be doing the same thing, but some of the same targets, that tribe can give you energy in just by what they are doing. Now, this is not about comparing. This is about really having a tribe of brilliant people around you that support changing the world while honoring themselves. Look at the people that you're around. Do they honor themselves? Do they know how to say no? Do they make themselves a priority in their world? And do they know how to be kind to others as well as themselves? This is really important. Who you surround yourself with, who you're listening to, who you're talking to, who you're reading, it truly does impact you. Now, I'm going to say this. You all, of course, know this, but would you please take a break from the news? The news can burn you out faster than anything, because, my friends, as a psychic sponge, when you're watching the news, you can be taking in all of the people that the news is talking about. You can be taking in their energy. You can tap into it so quickly. I mean, I watch the news and I start to cry. I truly do. And it's not that of course, even just talking about different things that are going on in the world, that it doesn't touch my heart and make my heart sad. But me being in touch with the news and being impacted, physically impacted in that way, does not contribute to me, to my business, or to the people that are being impacted. I'm very clear around what is going on in the world. I take little snippets of the news. That's what works for me. And then I set out to accomplish what I know is important, is inspiring other people to choose greater in their life. That's what's important for me. Supporting other business owners, that's what's important for me. really loving myself and loving others. That's what's important. And I can't change what's going on in the hundreds of thousands of millions and trillions of people all around the world. I guess we're not up to trillions, but the billions of people around the world. I can't change it for everyone, but I can be here in my energy and be clear with me and support the people around me and guide them and be a leader in the world that contributes to them. And as they do, it ripples out to the world. So please, the news is not a contribution. Exactly. Keisha's saying this in the chat room. The news is not a contribution. If you are sitting there watching it continuously, get your snippets and then get on with it. These things are really, really important. What I want you to think about, and this is one of the tasks I would like you to do, is I'd like you to take a step back and really review where you are at. Spend some time looking at that. What's going on for you? Why are you really burnt out? Look at the whys. Look at when you can recall that it began to occur in your life. Look at that piece, all right? Because that's going to start to give you hints. That's going to start to give you hints on what's really going on and what got you to burnout and what maybe continues to keep you there. Okay, already, holy mackerel, we are up to our final commercial break of the show. You are listening to Christine McIver on Inspired Choices show on the Inspired Choices Network. Please do check out my website, inspiredchoices.ca, where you can see all of the services and all of the ways that you can connect with me. I would love to hear from you. Or if you're someone that is interested in maybe connecting in and learning more about being on the Inspired Choices Network, you can contact me through this website, the Inspired Choices Network, as well. So stay tuned, my friends. We're going to be back quite shortly, and we will close out the show, wrap this all together to support you through burnout.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm really enjoying tonight's show. But as always, it went too quickly. At least it did for me. As I always say, you know what, my friends, wherever you are, you're in the right place. Wherever you are, whatever going on with you is important. And this importance about you and your, oh dear, something disconnected. How does it get any better than that? Anyways, what we want to do is we want to make sure that you are learning and you are growing and you are changing things in your life and you're changing things in your world so that your business can actually grow from that and you can grow from that. Because as you're doing this, as you are really looking at what is going on in your world, you can begin to change all of this. You have the ability to change what's happening. You have the ability to really bring this into your life and into your world. And what if just by choosing, just by saying yes to this, that you will have more and more of this show up in your world and more ease for you and everyone around you. So let's round this up. We've just got a few minutes left. One of the biggest keys when you are in burnout is to actually look at what is happening for you with your body. Look at your body. One of the things that I know that is very, very key is breath work. Breath work is incredibly important. When you have really good breath work, and whether this is through meditation or just stopping in the middle of your day when something is happening and just taking a step with that, just sitting still and taking a nice deep breath, that can start to change things more and more. Okay, that is something that is so important, is learning to do breath work. The other thing that I want to ask you is, where do you have fun? Where are you having fun in your life? Where are you having fun in what's going on in the world? Where do you have fun in your business? Start to look at that more and more deeply. Start to look at that very, very clearly, because when you are having fun, that is actually a telltale to what is happening for you and what is happening in your life and in your business. Look at that. Look at where you would like to have fun and where it's time for you to have more fun, and lean into that even more. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to look at truly connecting with your clients. Truly connecting with your clients. When you are truly connecting with your clients, you are going to have much richer conversations. You're going to have much richer experiences. And when you are doing that, when you are having much richer experiences, you are going to feel more fulfilled. You are going to start to have more and more joy in your life. You're going to have more and more happiness in what you are doing. And that, my friends, is going to be a part of nurturing you as well. All right. It's so critical that you look at this. You want to, we're not quite done yet. Hold on. You want to look at where you're nurturing yourself. Remember, I want you to really be serious and look at hiring someone to support you. What about hiring someone to clean your home? I've just hired someone. She's coming in once every 2 weeks. What a gift that is for me, for my body, and for my business. Again, revisit your values. Revisit when you say no. Do some self-reflection. Ask yourself, what's really important to me? Where am I falling down on loving myself? You are built for success, my friends. You are built for it. Your fear is driving your choices. The shame that we were talking about. You can change all of that in a heartbeat. Remember, my friends, no matter what choice you have ever made, you can always make another choice. It's available to you. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, take very good care of yourself, from one person who's been burnt out to another.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire. Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.